Well, it always seems like it's a good idea to sit down and knit. So I'm going to sit and knit while we chat a little bit. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, but at least I'm going to get a little bit knitting done on these sleeves. So, by the way, I'm Jane, the Scraptastic Yarns. I do a lot of things that are around knitting, crochet, Tunisian crochet, cooking, some health-related things. You name it, I'm kind of into it. Go, do a little bit of everything. This is not just a complete yarn channel. I do keep you up to date on what's going on in my life. And also, when we have these chats, sometimes I'm very opinionated about things that are going on in our world today, in our country, those kind of things. So, yeah. And I do lean more conservative. For those of you that, can't tolerate a conservative view, I'm going to put that out there right now so that if you need to leave, bye. You don't need to announce it, just go. That kind of thing. But other than that, let's get into a little bit of discussion. I did enjoy my day Friday. It was very nice not to have some of the things that I have noticed in the past, since now liberals always want to make their view known when you're getting groceries. And let me tell you, I have had a lot of things happen. I know I told you one time, Thomas and I were in State College shopping, getting groceries. And Thomas used to like every once in a while having, I think it's Wolf brand chili. He would put a couple cans in his cart, so, in the cart while we were shopping. Now, Thomas had taken the cart on to go do that and get a couple of other things. I had gone over to the freezer section looking for the whole okra because at the Wegmans that we used to shop at, they had the whole okra frozen. And one of my favorite things is okra, lightly steamed. It's not runny. I know a lot of people don't like it because it gets runny. Well, that's because of okra and what it's made of, that kind of thing. And, so I was over there looking for that and also getting some wild blueberries, frozen wild blueberries for our oatmeal. And Thomas had a woman come up, pick the cans out of the cart, put them on the shelf, and say to him, "Those are not healthy. You need to stay away from those." I mean, she didn't know him, and she just took it upon herself to be the food police. And he looked at her, and he grabbed the cans, put them back in his cart. He said, "Unless you're paying for everything I'm going to put in my cart today, I would say to you, bugger off and have a nice day." Of course, she went away upset, but, like I told Thomas when he was telling me about it, I said, well, she started it. So, yeah, I just find it funny, those kind of things. I find it funny the amount of people that will come into, like, say, come across one of my videos, especially some of the healthier you, those kind of things, and make some pretty rude comments. And I mean, it's clear they did not listen to the intro, didn't listen to any of the information from some of the comments that they've made. But it makes you wonder, why so many people have so much hate in their hearts that they have to be so ugly to other people. So, I just find it funny, the way that people think it's they're free to do those kind of things. And you know, can't stop stupid, I guess. But, yeah, I have been, like I said, I had quite a nice day yesterday. I went out shopping not once, but I did go out twice. Just because. One, it was a nice day, and two, I wanted to go see what one of our local stores had available that I'd not been into. So, and this is one of the stores that's downtown, and hadn't gotten into that store, so I just wanted to go see what they had available, and, you know, it was just a nice afternoon out. Didn't have to deal with a bunch of jerks out there. And it just floors me the amount of some of the boldness that some of the people have, you know. But, of course, a lot of it comes from younger generation. And I sit here and laugh because I think my mother would not have tolerated some of the things that I have tolerated in the store. She would have let that person have a little piece of their mind and then told them to go on and have a blessed day. Yeah. It is bright. It is sunny. Today it is just an absolute beautiful day. Did you guys get to see the 8 planets lined up last night? If you guys can hear that plunking sound, this is Ronan playing with his mouse. He likes to play right at my feet. And yeah, he just took off chasing it, tossed it away from him. That is his favorite game, is to play a little toss. And I give him a little bit of sugar and, you know, say a little few things to him, and then we get to playing. Now, he'll bring that back to me and expect me to play with him. So, you know, you may have to sit here and wait on him and let him realize that Mama ain't playing no more. So, but he's awful cute when he plays, so, you know, what can you do? And Caitlin, lately I keep calling Izzy Caitlin, I don't know why. And lately she has been playing with his mouse, and sometimes that leads him into a little bit of distress. He will come over and talk to me about it. Let me know he's not happy that sister is playing with his mouse. He considers it his toy. And that plunking, you know, sound of that mouse hitting the floor, many times I will hear that in the middle of the night. He's coming here just to playing with his toy, having a blast, carrying on. And there are times he has thrown it up into the air and tossed it onto my chest. The other day he flung it up on top of the refrigerator, and I almost couldn't get it, so had a good laugh about that. All right, but did you guys get to see the planets all lined up? Of course, they just look like stars, but the way that they were lined up was absolutely amazing. I did go out and see it. Caught a glimpse of most of them. Took the binoculars out with me to look at those kind of things. And some of mine was obscured by the tree line where I live, but I did get a glimpse of some of it. So I was, you know, neat to see that, because I don't think it happens again until 2494, I think is what they guesstimate. Of course, I don't plan to be here then. I really, you know, I'm working on making sure that I'm in heaven then when that happens. Just saying. So, yeah. I picked up a few more seeds and a couple of planters to start working on some of those container gardens. Um, haven't seen a real good deal on soil, which I find kind of sad. And many times I will get my soil from Lowe's. That's our lumber and garden center here. I wish we had a Home Depot, but Lowe's is it for this small area of town. So that's kind of my big, when I go for gardening supplies, those kind of things. You know, need to get a new pair of gardening gloves because my leather gloves, I got them wet. I know you're not supposed to get them wet, but I got them wet one day, so they're kind of stiff and icky. I would imagine I could probably beat them back to being a little more pliable. But, you know, I need new gloves anyway. I'm going to be out there dealing with the bamboo and all that stuff again anyway. So, I just need to make a trip to Lowe's to see if they've got the gloves in yet. They should have, but that doesn't always mean they do. You know? Hang on. I thought I had turned this off. I do. See? I have this turned off so it doesn't annoy me, and yet here it was ringing. I don't get it. Where I wasn't talking about. Had a momentary thought, and now it's gone. Oh well, I guess that's life, right? Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. We have a young lady that she had moved to Cyprus, and I'm sure it was with family, and I think they're missionaries. She is a U.S. citizen. Her husband, though, is not, and he is still in Cyprus. Well, he had requested the ability to come to the U.S. and become a naturalized citizen, that kind of thing. But we learned yesterday that was denied. So, we're having to go through some channels and see if we can get it expedited so he can be here with his wife. She is pregnant, and I believe she is due in April. I'm not positive. So, yeah, it's just kind of interesting. You know, we always hear of these stories, and they're usually happy endings, but sometimes you have to go through some different hoops to get them home. You know, just like you hear of people who are military and they're in another country serving our country, and they get married and they try to bring their spouse back home with them, and it's denied through the State Department for whatever reason. And generally they just have to reapply and, give the reason why. Well, it's my wife, so sometimes it just takes longer. So he is a Christian, and that is they do face persecution there in Cyprus for their beliefs. So, yeah, it's just crazy. So anyway, we're trying, as a church body, we are working through our representatives and states people and everything to be able to try to get him to the U.S. to be with his wife. His goal is to become naturalized citizen. So just praying that it will happen before the baby is born. Now, I kind of have an interesting dilemma with my insurance company. I am on insulin, 2 different insulins, and they are insulin pens. So the insulin pens need the needle tips. So I needed to get a refill, so I requested a refill, and that request is sitting at my local drugstore because they need to get approval from the insurance company for that prescription. This drug company, this insurance company just refilled my insulin. I'm not real sure what the problem is. I mean, I can't give myself the insulin without the needles. So, I don't know what the holdup is, so I'm, I've been calling the insurance company, talking with the doctor about it. What's the holdup there? So, I don't know. It's something I'm not too happy about, having to deal with this kind of nonsense, but I've seen it happening more and more with the insurance. And I know that a lot of things have gone up in price, and I know a lot of that was the whole thing, with the Biden administration, the deals that they had struck and everything, that's the reason a lot of our insurance premiums have gone up this year, as well as drug cost. And it's because of those deals that the administration struck with them. Which is another reason why I say it is important that you follow your government and what is going on, not just during election, because quite frankly, that makes you an uninformed voter, I would think, in my eyes. But you need to be informed all the time, consistently, what they are doing. So, yeah, I don't know, just kind of crazy, And I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. I honestly don't. You can only work within the part of the system that the government and our leaders allow you to work in. And you can't convince me, I'll be honest, you can't convince me that every one of those Congress people have made deals with Big Pharma and, anybody and everybody they can to get a little money added to their CPACs or their PACs or whatever they call them, or their, campaign donations. So I have no doubts that's how a lot of them got more money than the rest of us. But I do think that our Congress people need to be a little bit more honest with what they're doing. And because we know they're not working for us, they're actually working for themselves. I would like to see them work more for the American people. But I haven't seen that in many years. Many years. So there's always hope that they will take care of us and start to listen to us. Of course, I think part of the thing with getting them to pay attention to the people is just start voting them all out. Get rid of them all. But that's just me. And I find this whole thing with the Hackmans, Gene Hackman and his wife, bizarre. I mean, you know, signs of being mummified, and it's apparent that they were dead for several days, but it's just odd, you know? Especially, I think they released, yesterday afternoon, they released the phone call that the caretakers or whoever it was that found them, looked through the window, had called asking for a welfare check on them. Just find that strange, you know? But we never know when or how we're going to go out, so. So hopefully they'll get back some results and can, you know, tell people what actually happened. I have a friend online, Nancy, and she had been posting this thing, this hashtag free Wendy Williams. And I was like, what is that about? Because the only thing that I could see when I'd done my initial search, I went a little bit deeper last night looking for it. But apparently a couple of years ago, caretaker and family had noticed a big change in her speech patterns and some mental decision making that she had. So they had taken her in for doctors and appointments, and it was determined that she had aphasia, which is difficulty with speech, is normally what it is. Not able to get the words out, you know, say the words you meaning to say, and frontal temporal dementia, which is a little bit of a different type of dementia, you know, than what we normally think of, like Alzheimer's. It's a little bit different, but it does affect the decisions, emotions, and some of those things, you know, that happen. So, and in the course of that, she had someone that was a caretaker helping her. And the woman was named the caretaker by the court system. And so apparently she is petitioning the court to have the caretaker removed. She doesn't think she has aphasia, you know, all this other stuff and whatever. I don't know how that'll end up, because I do know that normally when there are medical issues, there are constant tests and things that need to be met, given to the court on a yearly basis, and generally the caretaker has to come in for the court once a year, you know, testify and show cause for continuing to be that caretaker, whatnot. And generally they have the medical information behind that. So, yeah, so I'm kind of curious how this will end up with that. But that's something else to kind of keep an eye on and to follow to see what happens. You know, it's not quite the same as it was with Britney Spears. Although I think Britney Spears could still use a guardian to watch over her at times. But I also think that Miley Cyrus could use one too. And Taylor Swift at times. But that's beside the point. But yeah, so I did dig a little deeper, find out a little bit more about that, and now I have a clue what the hashtag Free Wendy Williams is about. And Wendy Williams has always been in the past, a talk show host, was very outspoken, very matter of fact, that kind of thing. So, and there's always that little conspiracy that they come up with this to quiet her. Although I think either her son just released or is going to release a documentary about her and what's been going on. But she is funding the documentary and she is producing it. So I don't know how that works with that kind of thing. I do know my friend that was the guardian for her brother. She had to show documentation, what was going on money-wise, how his money was being spent, what it was being spent on, the whole 9 yards. So anyway, it'll be interesting to follow that and see what happens. And of course, the conspiracy theory is that she is not in her right mind. That she is in her right mind, but they just wanted to shut her up. And this was the way to shut her up. Or whatever she would talk about or discuss. Of course, there's that theory with Joan Rivers that she had put out there years ago, that Michelle is Michael. And then she died. And so family members still think that she was murdered. I mean, stuff happens for far less than that, so who knows? But that's one of those conspiracy theories with a kernel of truth. And the kernel of truth was that Joan Rivers said that Michelle was actually Michael. So, and that's why I like listening to conspiracy theories and going out there, and finding out some of the truth. And I'll tell you what I'm seeing a lot of, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And that is that President Obama gets, I think it's $2.6 million a year ever since the creation of Obamacare as royalties. That is not true. That was a story put out on a satire site, kind of like the Babylon Bee, the Onion. It's put out on a satire website and people are just running with it and just all upset and, Doge has found this and they're stopping it. No, it's not a true story. It's absolutely fake. But this is what bothers me about that. Seeing it so often on Facebook. And you have all these fact checkers. And no, they're not gone. Regardless of what Zuckerberg said, because he did lie. I have quite a few issues with some of that. Oops, I didn't do the last two. Need to rip those out. But I have had things that I have posted and they come back and they're saying it's false, blah, blah, blah. Like I told you the other day, the story with the about the fraud in his birth certificate. I had not seen the whole hour-long live broadcast where Maricopa had shown that there were two different people that had determined there were 9 points of things that were what they call fraud, that were deceptive, that had been taken from one birth certificate, copy and pasted, put into the one that was presented to everyone as Obama's birth certificate. And all I had done in that was shared the link for that, because I did find the whole story interesting since I hadn't seen the whole thing, you know. And you would think that that wouldn't be controversial, being able to watch a video to see the video in itself, but apparently it is for Facebook. So they come across, you know, said it was all false. It wasn't his birth certificate wasn't faked, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that is not what the video was about. Neither was that what my statement was about it. But can't argue with the fact checkers because they know everything. And as we know, Zuckerberg has pointed out that a lot of it with the Facebook fact checkers is their opinion. Not based in anything that is real, anything like that. So yes, I did dispute it, and you know, within less than a minute, they said that they disagreed with my, you know, dispute of it, and blah blah blah. It would still stand. So I went a step further. I've sent an inquiry to them about why they feel that a live broadcast of a news, was a live news event that happened, was fake. Because that's basically what they're saying, is that that news article and everything that was discovered, including all of the forensic evidence and the proof, was not valid. Well, I got an answer today telling me, well, yes, they understood where I was coming from, and yes, they had made a mistake. They would remove the mark and the mark on me for breaking community standards, because I had proven to them that all it was a news broadcast. I shared the link for people who wanted to watch it. Never said it was true. Never said that he wasn't an American citizen. Never said anything like that. Just pointed out what the forensics had shown, and that, you know, sometimes science is just science. So, anyway, it's crazy. You know, and I wasn't, you know, there was a part of me that I was just going to let it go. I was like, no, I'm not going to let this go for a reason. They need to understand, good or bad, people need to be able to hear the evidence. You may not like what the evidence shows, but it's based on science, pure science. You know, it's kind of like the thing with male or female. There is science. And I've had people say, yeah, but you know, there are 30, 36, 39, what they've identified, blah, 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 science. No, those are identified as anomalies. They are abnormal to the normal. And in fact, every one of them is an actual defect in the gene mutation. That is science. You know, stop trying to change the science to fit your picture. So, I don't know, just kind of crazy. And I think I told you guys about finding the adding machine. I figured one of these days that I'll set it up and we'll just practice running through some of these things with it. But I'm not ready to practice yet. Got to get my system set up and my table set up for that. I did purchase a I think it's called a tool bench. It has places for you to put your tools and whatnot, but it also has an area that you can open up. And I've used that before for this because I don't have the money to find someone who could make me a table that would be at the right height to be able to put a hole in the center for me for this reason. So, yeah, that is why I use that little tool bench. And it's not that difficult to deal with that way. It is heavy, but, you know, it's a workable solution to use. Since I don't have a table that has a hole in it. And I kind of hate the idea of just buying another table just for that. You know what I mean? Just seems like that would be ridiculous. All right, folks, I am going to pause you because we are coming up on the time that my camera will... And just as I was saying that, what happened? The camera died. So yeah, I needed to reset this. And it's the only thing about this that is somewhat annoying, you know, because the way that it works, that kind of thing. But part of life. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Moving you around, but things got a little wonkified there, so needed to move you. But anyway, you know, things happen in our daily lives that just kind of go, huh? Why do people make a big deal out of it? It's just what it is. It's just part of everyday life. Let's deal with it. You know, it's kind of like, what was it, before 9/11? There was a press conference where the Department of Defense was talking about the amount of money that they couldn't account for. I think it was $23 billion that year. And then they were also talking about the UFOs. They were going to disclose information about those. And then we broke in with the 9/11 reports. So that news thing got squashed and never heard from it again. I mean, they were in the middle of a live question session, so. And I always find it funny how different people view different things that happen right in front of their eyes. I'll give you an example. The cabinet meeting that they had where Elon was present, but they had opened up with prayer, and I watched most of it before I had to leave. Did hit record so I could watch the rest of it when I got home, and I was like, okay, no big deal, you know, whatever. And then I have people that I know that are very conservative, were extremely, you know, thrilled with the way the cabinet meeting went and what they saw. And then I have a friend who's a staunch Democrat. Any Republican she is against. She will dog them, she will treat them like crap, talk to them like crap, speak bad about them. that's just the way she is. She's pretty much a pretty angry person anyway in life. So, she had made comments about you'd see how stupid the whole thing was, how stupid the people are. They're in that, and can't even speak like people. I mean, just terrible things. And my first thought was, I find it interesting how we see different things through our eyes, even though we watch the exact same thing. Okay? Um, so yeah, I find this interesting. Do I expect Trump to speak like a wise, mature politician? No, he's not. Do I expect him to talk like a New Yorker? Yep, exactly like a New Yorker. And I have a lot of friends who are from New York, and they're pretty, how can I say this delicately? They don't mind telling you what for and the way it is in their eyes. And they're not always eloquent. Do I expect that out of Trump? Yeah. Have I seen that out of him? Yeah. No big deal. So, yeah, I do find it interesting. But I think sometimes as people we need to learn to give whoever is in the office a little bit of grace and to continue to pray for them that they would make our country successful. Because quite honestly, if you are calling for the downfall of a leader, you're calling for the downfall of America. And I don't know, that's a sad state that you feel that way. That's the way I look at it. I feel like that is sad. I want our country to succeed. I would like our country to go on until Jesus comes back. Do I know that that's going to happen? No. But I would like to think that it could survive that. But I guess time will tell. Maybe we'll all be living under Russian control. Who knows? And I think the whole thing with Zelensky, the White House interview with him and it becoming a shouting match is interesting. But I think some of the things that we know about Zelensky and many of the people that are within their armies, maybe instead of sending money, we just need to send arms. I mean, in the past, we've been just sending money. But it's apparently being abused. So, yeah, I think maybe we should stop sending that and just send arms. Instead of feeding their egos and giving them just money that they can just use willy-nilly the way they want to. And yes, I do agree there needs to be new elections. And I'm sorry, there are plenty of war-torn countries that have elections. So I don't think that's a good enough excuse not to have elections. And I am a little bit concerned about that because Zelensky and whoever is their top dog, that seems to be a sticking point. They don't want to have elections. And, me being a curious people want to go, why? What's the problem with that? So I don't know. And I do have friends that have been over in Ukraine working with different groups and different people, that kind of thing. So I know it's not all rosy over there. But I do think that some of the aid that we're sending there isn't getting to the people who need it. I think that happens everywhere. I think that happens all the time. So, I don't know. I do hope that they can come up with a peace deal. And I hope it's something that they can both live with. I mean, let's be honest. We all know Putin wants to be the world leader. Wants to have a world where he dominates everything. So, I mean, that's just his personality. You know, that's something he's dead set on. It upset him when Russia, split into all these different countries. He's been trying to get them all back for years. I have a friend in Estonia that I met through Thomas, and it's been nonstop. The constant things that he does try to bring Russia back to the way it was before they all split. So, and I'm not sure, I haven't investigated why the whole thing is that they don't want Ukraine in NATO. What's the problem? They've added all these small countries all over the place into NATO for years and years, So, I don't understand that. That is something that I've been doing some research on because I'd like to understand that a little bit more, some of those dynamics and why, so many people do not want Ukraine to be part of NATO. NATO has its good things and its bad things. It's kind of like any other world entity. They gain a little bit of power and they get a little power hungry. And they want to control everything. Kind of like the whole thing with the World Health Organization. You need to follow their agendas as well, in order to keep up. And they have constantly wanted to decrease world population along with a couple other things that, I'm like, well, yeah, but the ways that you want to do it aren't ethical. Teach people not to have 27 children. But you don't sneak in sterilization or, some kind of medication into their drinking water so that they can't have children or so that their children die in utero or whatever. That is uncalled for. But yeah, then of course, this head guy at WHO, he's loony. Some of the things he wants to be able to do to determine, what our rights are as citizens in the U.S., as a world citizen. And I'm like, I don't know, there's a little bit of a difference there. While we are world citizens, each country has their own issues and needs to deal with it. So. I don't think there's an easy answer to things. So I am looking forward to, I am going to tell you, I did pull the tote that has quite a few of my projects and project bags. And those you will be seeing coming out the next couple of months. I am determining that I am going to start doing something to get some of those things worked on, as well as, go through them periodically. Say, nope, not going to work on this one. I know I have a shawl in there that I've been knitting that has alpaca in it, so I have to wear cotton gloves when I'm knitting it, and I can only do 1 or 2 rows. It's one of those that you really have to really pay attention to each row, because each row is done differently. So, yeah, that I do have to pull out. Do want to finish my top, the other top that I was doing. Do plan on starting to work on that this next coming week, because I would like to get that finished. It is a cotton polyester blend of yarn, and I just would like to see it finished so I can move on from it. So that will be coming out next week to start being worked on. And of course, pull up and have a couple of chats here and there. I will tell you there will be very little new yarn that comes into this house. So if you are looking for yarn hauls, that kind of thing, if there are any, it will most likely be someone donated yarn. And I will show you those. Show you some of the plans that I plan on doing, that kind of thing. Other than that, those are some things I'll be working on. I will start filming the shawl that I am going to be making with those yarns, with the blues and the Karen yarn. And I am going to include the white, just in that gentle white, what's left over there, just in case. Need to break up something a little bit. Because sometimes they don't always look as good together as you think they would. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. And we'll be filming that as I start working on that next week. I've pretty much decided what I wanted to do with the Tunisian. I am going to make a Tunisian garment, and I am going to use that Claret yarn. And I think it's kind of going to be kind of like a boat neck for the, I think that just will be the easiest, because you can just make 2 squares, seam them up, that kind of thing. And at least that's the idea right now. Doesn't mean that'll absolutely happen in the end. I may get to the top of it and say, no, I think I'm going to change this up a little bit. But we'll just take it as it goes. I am going to use the honeycomb stitch. So I am going to do a little bit of ribbing around the bottom. Next week, next Tuesday, I am doing a stretchy ribbing that can be used with garments, sleeves, those kind of things. It's not as stretchy as it's intended to be, like regular knitting. So it's going to be a little bit different, but it is a little stretchy and can be used for like around the sleeves or about the hem, neckline if you want to use it. And I just think it's a rather interesting way to do things. So yeah, that is kind of what's coming up. What are you guys working on? I hope that you have been following with Connie's birthday bash, so that when she starts announcing those awards or winnings, that you have your name in the pot for them. I hope that you have done that. I hope you found a few new channels this week. I did find a couple of new channels. They're not necessarily crochet, but they are new channels. So look forward to sharing with you those sometime next week. But I think I'm going to go for now. I do have some cleaning I need to do, and that involves a broom and a mop. My two least favorite things to do. But they have to be done, and since the cats will not willingly do it, I must. All right, guys, I will see you again soon. Everybody have a great week, great weekend, and remember, do something kind today, whether it's for yourself or someone else. See you soon. Bye.